What is up, Need for Speed racers? It is I, your wheelman, Alex Cornnut, and we're here with the 2006 M3 GTR Legends Edition. This is the car from Need for Speed Most Wanted. Most of you guys know that. For those of you that maybe don't know this car's heritage, you probably need to drop everything you're doing right now and go find a way to play Need for Speed Most Wanted. It is one of the best games in the Need for Speed franchise. Story was fun. This car was amazing. It was just, the time this came out, there was just nothing else. It was the coolest BMW ever, and it still is a very, very cool BMW. Nothing but positive things to say about it. The game was a lot of fun. We all who have played it have very fond memories of it. If you're a newer, younger generation and this is kind of your first experience with this car, there's a reason that we all just swoon over this thing. It's awesome. Regardless, I'm here with the build for it. My buddy XIVILL has been working on the BMWs for over a week. When he found out I was doing BMW week, he was like, oh, he's a BMW fanboy. So he tuned half a dozen cars for me. Brought me M5, M4, brought me Z4, the E46, this one. Just, he had a page of just builds that he wanted me to do, and I ended up doing some different directions with stuff. There's certain things that I want to bring you guys, and there's certain classes I like to hit because they're either don't have a lot of cars or I think this slot's best. This is one that he worked on for a while. He was very, very happy with it. I made a couple of little changes to it, but overall it's essentially the same build. But anybody that puts the kind of time in that he did to be part of the Cornnut crew and bring that to me, I'm thankful for his hard work. So big shout out to him. The beats we're listening to, my man, Uncle Ray Ray, Unc RC, put this together for us. I really like it. So if you're a content creator in the music space and you'd like to have some of your beats end up on the channel, come hit me up. Come join the Discord. If you want to just come race with us, we'd love to have you on the Discord. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what your skill level is. We've usually always got people online racing because we are all over the globe. And so it doesn't matter your time zone. We usually got somebody to come play with. Let's dig right into the build. I think you guys will like it. So for the engine in this car, you are running the 2.9 liter V8. That is the Pro Silver part. 471 brake horsepower when you start. For the parts, you are going to be running Gold Super Induction. You're going to be running Gold Super ECU. You're going to be running Silver Pro Fuel System. Gold Super Exhaust. Elite Platinum Roots Supercharger. I tried this car with the twins. I've tried this car with the single. I've tried this car with the 5-speed. I've tried it with the 6-speed. I'm going to walk you through the differences here in a little bit, but I wanted to just let you know we've tried a lot of things. This is the optimal version that I could come to with my buddy XIVILL. Sport Bronze Nitrous Bottle. You'll very rarely see me put more boost in this car. Elite Platinum Road Suspension. Silver Pro Brakes. Elite Platinum Grip Tires. We are full Beyonce on this build. To the left. Bronze Sport Clutch. Pro Silver 6-speed transmission. Elite Platinum Differential. Running nitrous grip, running nitrous near miss for our auxiliaries, you guys. When you're learning how to micro drift, you need them both. And this car, at S-Class, you usually drift and grip on your turns because you're going so fast you kind of have to drift a little bit. It works. For the handling, like I said, we're full Beyonce. To the left. 100% grip all the way there, you guys. Steering sensitivity, do whatever you like. I've got people that are learning to micro drift that said it's easier to micro drift if your sensitivity is low. I'm still keeping it high because I'm learning there because that's what I like, but do whatever feels good for you and just drive the car, you guys. Driver mod is the most important, so once you make yourself comfortable in the car, you're going to be faster in the car. Point blank. Downforce, I run it all the way high. XIVILL likes to run it a little on the lower side. You can kind of do anything you would like with the downforce as long as you're from there all the way over, you're fine. I think the higher downforce helps the car, especially at the lower RPMs. It's got enough power that it kind of likes to slide a little bit, so that higher RPM does help a little bit. Traction control, off. Drift entry, brake tap. You can do brake tap, you can do gas tap. If you're not micro drifting, turn it off. Just grip it, grip it, grip it. But I think brake tap is a little more consistent. It's a little easier to get into the drifts that way. That's going to give you a very well put together car. Don't let the stats deceive you. This thing is actually better than it looks on paper. That's why I always say paper stats. This is one that outshines those numbers. 640 on the horsepower, 614 on the torque. Quarter mile does not matter. 0 to 60 does not matter. Top speed of 206, it does it. It gets there just fine. S329 full build. This car is really pretty good. It soaks up the curbs really well in the corners. So on the road track or in town where you're going on stuff, it does very well. I didn't have any problems with it. It actually kind of surprised me with the way it turned in some ways. I built the E46 with XIVILL as well. This is the GTR, so it's like the race pedigree version of that E46. So they're similar in body style and they're similar in car. They are nowhere close to each other in the game. The E46 is over here on this island of I suck, and the GTR is over here on the premium island of like, this is really good. You can get them to look similar, but that's the only similarities. They both are called BMW. That's where it starts and stops. E46, get away from that. If you do not have this car because you're not on EA Pro or you don't have it unlocked through single player, whatever, there's a couple different ways to get the car, but not everybody has access to it. Do not go pay $5 for EA Play Plus or whatever it is for you to unlock it through the EA Pass. It's not worth money. If you have the car and you want to build it because this is an icon, I get it. I'm with you. That's why it's here. But I would never encourage anyone to go give EA another $1 for a single car. It's just not worth it, you guys. That out of the way. Overall, it's pretty good. Remember how I talked about I wanted to come back to this? The supercharger and the turbocharger. I tried them both. So the turbocharger gives you 7 more horsepower, but you lose about 100 foot-pounds of torque. You feel that everywhere except for the very top end of the car. We tried it with the twin turbos. You get a little bit more torque than with the single turbo, but overall, you're still feeling it in the super. In this game, when you turn, your car bleeds speed terribly. Like, you lose lots of speed when you turn. So when you are going through a corner, the RPMs are dropping because you're slowing down. With a turbocharger, it makes boost. It makes its max power at the very top end of the RPM range because that's when it's spinning as fast as it can. That's when it's making its max horsepower. As soon as your RPMs start to drop, the turbo is not spinning as fast. It's not creating the power. You're basically turning and falling out of the power all at the same time. The advantage of the supercharger on 90% of the builds is that belt-driven boost that it creates. The horsepower is very linear. Like, it goes up and then it's just a flat line of just torque and horsepower all the way across the RPM range. And so it doesn't matter if you're kind of lower in the gear or higher in the gear, you're going to have similar power with the super. So when you go into these corners and your RPMs are dropping, you've still got all the power in the car to get you back up to speed. Whereas with the turbo, you suffer a little. So do bear that in mind. I did testing with the 5-speed and the 6-speed. They were similar on how they performed in some of the testing that I did. If they're similar on how they perform in some of the basic tests, I know that the 6-speed is going to be better in the race environment because with an automatic transmission, it's picking the gear for you. There's more opportunity for the car to put you into the right gear for the corner so you have the most power to get out of that corner, get the best acceleration, and hit it. So 6-speed is where it's at. It also got you a couple more mile an hour on the top end. It was pretty much a win-win, slam dunk. I didn't find that more gears in this car than 6 was really worth it, so I wouldn't dabble going up to a higher transmission than the one that's in it. You might try a single turbo. It's a straight swap on this build, so if you already have the supercharger purchased, you can go just stick in the single turbo and you're right there. It gives you a little more ponies. It robs you of 100 foot-pounds of torque. You might like the way it performs in the top end. Just try it. Either way is good. I think the super is better, but test it. That's going to give you the Legends Edition. It's a fun car. I think you guys are really going to like it. I got gameplay footage after this. 3 races. You'll see how the car performs. It does really well. Shout out to Uncle Ray Ray. Thanks for the beats, man. Those are sounding good. Shout out to XIVILL. Thanks for helping me with the build. We spent a lot of time on this together, so I'm thankful to him. One little cool side note. If you go to the ride stance and you do the ride height, this car does nothing. It doesn't go up or down. You can just adjust the camber a little bit with your ride height. Like, look, the car's not doing anything. It's the only car in the game that I have found that this happens, which I thought was really funny. And I think that's why it goes over the curb so well. Like, it's just a static. It doesn't matter where the body's at. The suspension's going to do whatever it wants. And then if you go and you buy the vanity items and you do the air suspension, it does nothing. Air suspension changes nothing on this car, which I thought was hilarious. So that's it in a nutshell. I am Alex Cornnut, your wheelman. Stay play for the gameplay footage. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye. Alright, first up, Blue Collar. Everybody who races S-Class knows this track. It is a lot of fun. Manual players, we launch in 3rd gear. Automatic players, just make sure you get a perfect launch. You'll see we launch in 3rd, shift in right there, and I stay right there at the top of the RPM range. Right as I run out of nitrous is when we shift into 4th. So that's a perfect gear to start in with this car. We're going to carry 4th gear through. I'm going to drift in just a little bit, try to get a little bit of micro boost. I'm going to go a little bit wide, trying to just keep the boost. Doesn't really work. Cut our line to the right of the billboard and just stay on track. Overall, this car does very well. It handles really surprisingly good. We're going to try to micro drift there. It doesn't work. I do my little tap, but it ends up going to grip mode, so we just use our grip turn and get out of there. Same kind of deal. Drifted for a second, but not enough, so it was just a grip turn. I'm not complaining, but this car does not micro drift nearly as good as some of the others. So if you're learning to micro drift, this probably is not the car to start with, you guys. But regardless, it is a really good car. It's very fast. It's very planted, very predictable. Every now and then it'll get a little loose and it's a little rowdy, but overall it performs very well. I'm walking away from everybody in the Cornnut crew right now. All those guys are pretty talented, all very good drivers. They definitely hold their own. This car just happens to do pretty well on this track. I'm not going to set any record-breaking times, but like I've told you guys before, in a public lobby, if you are racing and doing well and running clean, anything beneath a 2-minute and 10-second on this track is cruising just fine. You can be faster than that. There's a lot more optimal lines. There's a lot of stuff you can do. But overall, if you get under a 210, you're moving just fine on this track. And that's a very good target to shoot for as a player. Don't get me wrong, there's guys that do this around 2 minutes. I mean, there's a lot of time to be made up for myself and others as well. But at the end of the day, we're not doing record-breaking times here. We're just trying to be fast and just win our races, right? Doesn't matter how much you win by as long as you win. Winning is winning. So overall, pretty clean run. Car's very predictable. Like I say, it doesn't drift as good as I'd love, but overall, a good handling car is paramount, and I like that. Alright, race 2, Get High Tonight. This track has got a couple of pretty good corners that take a little practice, and so if you are in public lobbies and you're being careful and cautious with how to hit those corners, you can do very well with this car. We won the last playlist, so we launched in 3rd and we're way out front. Car's great. It runs out of nitrous right as you get into the position to shift into 4th gear, so it goes hard. It's wonderful. I stay in oncoming there for a little while, trying to get as much boost as possible, and then use that boost to get me through that corner. Basically just build speed here. You'll see I'm saving all my blue NOS because right here I know I'm going in the dirt, and so I like to try to save all of my nitrous for this, and then I use my boost, which is the yellow bar, to just accelerate. We're getting lots and lots of yellow boost through there, just bouncing around and getting a little drifty. You want to shoot for the right side of this checkpoint, just barely go through it, and that usually will keep you on the track. I got a little out of shape there, and that's why I kind of ended up going through the grass, but ideally you want to just shoot for the inside of that corner. It'll treat you right. We're doing grip turn after grip turn through here. I'm using all of my nitrous to get up to speed, using all of the yellow boost, all of the nitrous again. We're just using everything that we've got to get up to speed down this hill because, as you know, gas station's at the bottom. We fill up everything. So, boom, full bar of nitrous. We use it all. We're doing a nice cruising speed of 200 mile an hour. There wasn't much traffic, so that was awesome. We cut through the trees. We shoot right for the middle of the icon, and that puts us right into that checkpoint. Use our yellow boost that we got through, going from the airtime and everything, and just get us right back up to speed. I take a tight corner here. It gets a little out of shape, a little tighter than I wanted. I didn't expect to drift there. Got lucky, we just barely clipped the car, so that wasn't super optimal, but I'm not complaining. Anytime we can make it through that corner like that and not crash, excellent. For the most part, this car is really predictable in a grip turn, but every now and then it'll slide on you like that, and you got to be ready to adjust. Got back up to 200. This car does just fine. It's very, very fast. Alright, last track of the night. This is Fishhook. I really like this track as well. It's a fantastic little track. It's got a couple of pretty good tech corners, but overall it is a speed race, and so you get to do a little bit of everything. It's probably one of my favorite tracks in the map, actually. My friend RC is there in that all-wheel drive Focus RS. That thing just slaps. He was messing with me. He knew I was recording, so he likes to get in front of me and then hit the brakes just to make me screw around and do stuff. So big shout out to him for being a jerk bag, but that's alright. That'll be the last time we see him for this race. My man Nil, on the other hand, is up there in the McLaren F1, and as you guys know, that car is a slayer in S-Class, so it's going to be everything we can do to work back up to catch him. He tucked in behind that van, caused him to do a brake check and kind of swerve around, so we're going to use that and just get by him and then hopefully carry our lead from there on out. We're doing over 200 mile an hour through there for the most part, using our boost to get up to speed. Turning in here, I got off the gas just a little bit, held its line very nice. This car is really predictable. Mind you, it shaves speed a lot when you're cornering, but overall, a predictable, comfortable car is going to be a lot easier to drive. We smashed the gas station right there, top up the boost, and just use all of that to get, cruising speed of over 200. Make sure I'm staying in oncoming as much as I can, but also not getting involved with traffic. E-brake in, shoot for the inside, and just try to do a predictable corner. I'm doing a big grip turn here, using the little bit of yellow bar that I had to get up to speed, and then waiting until I'm straightened out before I use the yellow boost. Once again, we're right back up to speed, and we are walking away from our opponents. I was thinking that maybe if I kept it tight, I was going to go through the gas station back there, but we got airborne, and that just didn't happen. So we took a very degen line through the grass and bushes, but that's okay. Now that was a good little micro drift, little e-brake turn. Use the bar to get the boost, and then use the second bar for the grip turn. Another one there. You use the drift first, and then as soon as it registers the finish of the grip turn, it gives you the second bar of yellow. So it's a win-win all the way. We use all of our resources to get up to speed so we can carry as much speed through the section as possible. Get up to around 200 mile an hour, and we just finish the race and win. You guys have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.